Hello, my name is Jennifer Engel, and I'm going to be reading Chapter 7 of La Linea of the Un Poquito Español. So I'm going to skip a lot of the Spanish part, so please forgive me. And for my students, just a reminder that we have this sheet that I want you to fill out for your understanding. The focus is slaughtering of the goat and reflecting on the Father's plans for Miguel. And remember, your focus structure is how does this chapter contribute to the plot of the story? Who, Miguel, is doing what? Either the slaughtering of the goat and or his reflecting. Why is that important? What does that reveal? Okay, so those are the things that you're looking for. Here we go, chapter 7. Elena, I need your help. I shook her shoulders roughly. She groaned and pushed my hand away. Let me sleep, Miguel. Please, please. No, come on now. I pulled off her blankets and jerked the pillow out from under her head. It was already late, and I had a lot to do. The goat needed to be slaughtered for the fiesta, and I needed Elena to do it. An hour later, Elena finally made it down to our little barn. I already tethered the goat and gathered the tools for the slaughter. Tio used a gunshot to the brain to kill his goats, but Elena preferred a hammer. Tio should have at least the guts, she always said, to get up close to an animal he's going to kill. Elena held the hammer tightly in her small hands and looked right in the goat in the eyes. She took a deep breath, raised the hammer above her head. I turned my eyes, but I heard the sure, solid blow that Elena brought down on the goat's skull. Its knees buckled and fell to the ground. The goat lay motionless. Pronto, Miguel, Elena admonished. I gripped my sharpened knife and cut swiftly through the jugular vein. Together we strung up the goat and hung it head downward so that the blood would drain out of the body and into the bucket below. The metallic odor of the freshly spilled blood made me gag. I breathed through my mouth to block out the smell and had to stop my stomach from churning. Elena pulled a wrapped torta out of her pocket and gobbled it up in several quick bites. How could she eat with a dead, bloody goat hanging right next to her? She stood, arms crossed, her eyes moved up and down the carcass. We won't get a lot of meat out of this one. She looked at me and waited, daring me to say the truth out loud. It should be enough, though, for the fiesta, I replied. I bet we won't get something like this in California. It was dumb to think Papa would send for both of us, she said. I know it's your turn. I picked up the knife and cut a slit from the hind legs to the neck of the goat. We won't be long, Elena. Papa and Mama won't let you stay here alone for long. I continued skinning the goat. I did it the way that my grandfather taught me, being careful not to contaminate the carcass with feces from the colon. I felt sick again, this time from the lie that I just told Elena. We both waited years longer than anyone thought. When Papa left, he said, a year or two at most. It's been almost 7 already. Elena seemed resigned now to staying, as if she had finally gotten used to the idea. I told her what Don Clemente had offered to send us north. She'd just feel worse, right? What good would it do? Besides, I said, I can work when I get to California. There'll be money if I'm working too. Por favor. Elena rolled her eyes in disgust. You know Papa will insist that you go to school. I knew the big plan as well as she did. I would be the first hombre in the family to graduate from school. Elena would be the first. Even if Papa and Mama left, the plan hadn't changed one bit. We had to travel through half a continent and learn a whole new language just to make it happen. Up to now, Elena and I had just accepted whatever Papa said. We did. But I had been nothing but a dumb kid. I believed everything that I had been told. I held the knowledge about Don Clemente's offer tight inside of me. The wasted years of waiting. I cut off the goat's head at the base of the skull. Elena moved close to me to help with the next part. She took the knife from me and cut open the goat's belly. The stomach and the intestines rolled out, and together we removed the bladder, the liver, and the gallbladder. All of these we threw into the bucket. We took turns sawing through the bones to get at the heart and the lungs. We pulled them out, washed the carcass with cold water, and wiped it dry. We cleaned the tools and rinsed our hands. Finally, Elena picked up the bucket and discarded the organs and walked slowly toward the door. She would take it to the far side of the property and burn it with the rest of the garbage. At the door, Elena turned. "Don't worry, Miguel. Go ahead. I know what to do. I can take care of myself." Then she walked slowly across the field. The weight of the offal in the bucket made her list to one side, and she didn't stop until she got to the burn site. She bent and kindled the embers with a handful of dried-up corn stalks. She threw the organs one by one into the flame. With each she stood straighter and straighter. She watched until the organs had turned to ash and drifted off into the breeze that blew toward the north. And that's chapter 7.